Hello and welcome to the Formula E Word and to the review of the Berlin E-Prix. Once again, what a race we were treated to. Plenty of action, close racing, overtaking, and no, it didn't rely on chaos, just a properly good race. Before the race though, we obviously had qualifying. It's amazing how these things work. And Sebastian Buemi took pole position with a time of a 1:07.295 ahead of Stoffel van Dorn. Thank you very much. The Belgian was ahead of Lucas de Grassi, who was third, with Gary Paffett fourth and Alex Lynn in fifth, and Alexander Sims rounded out the Super Pole in sixth place. Daniel Abt was seventh in the second Audi, Antonio Felix da Costa was eighth, Jean-Eric Vergne ninth, and Jerome D'Ambrosio rounded out the top 10. Something else actually on quali before I move on, those who ran in the early groups weren't actually as badly hampered as we've seen at previous races. Obviously they still fell down the order, but nowhere near as dramatically. So for example, as you saw there, de Grassi still ended up starting in third place. But that's enough about qualifying. Let's have a look at some of the action from Berlin. Here's the race in 60 seconds.
We go green in Berlin. Decent start from Buemi there. He'll have the inside line on the run down towards the first corner. De Grassi in the Audi tries to get up the inside. Quite conservative on the brakes. And Van Dorn slots in. There's the attack from Alex Lynn. Up the inside of Gary Paffett. Lucas de Grassi up the inside. And that is second place for the Brazilian. He gets past Stoffel van Dorn. De Grassi up the inside. De Grassi into the lead in Berlin. Does the move into turn 6. Sebastian Buemi uses his fan boost and takes second place away from Antonio Felix da Costa. And there's Vergne again, this time on Daniel Abt. Carving through the field now, Jean-Eric Vergne. What has happened there? Vergne again, this time up the inside of da Costa. Da Costa fights back into the quick left-hander of 7. They haven't had the strength that they had last year this season, but it is a victory for Audi again in Berlin. Lucas de Grassi wins.
Woohoo! Yeah!
Lucas de Grassi takes the victory.
Here's the final classification then, and Lucas de Grassi took his second win of the season, finishing well clear of Sebastian Buemi and Jean-Eric Vergne. Antonio Felix da Costa ended up fourth, with Stoffel van Dorn fifth and Daniel Abt sixth. Alexander Sims was seventh in the second BMW, Oliver Rowland in eighth, Sam Bird in ninth, and then Pascal Wehrlein took the final point for 10th, and Mortara rounded out the top 11 for Venturi. Sebastian Buemi, of course, getting the 3 points as well for pole position. Mitch Evans tops the second page in 12th, with Robin Freitz in 13th and Max Gunther in 14th. Felipe Massa crossed the line in 15th. Gary Paffett down to 16th. More on that briefly later. Jerome D'Ambrosio was 17th. The two Neo boys of Turvey and Dillman were next up in 18th and 19th. And Jose Maria Lopez was the last of the classified finishers, with DNFs for Andre Lotterer and Alex Lynn. And it was Lucas de Grassi, the race winner, who managed to take fastest lap as well, and that bonus point. Something I want to do for these Formula E reviews is just be a bit more relaxed and maybe give you a few of my thoughts about the race, because that's probably why you're all here, my opinion on it after all. And to be honest, as I've already touched on, it was just a really good race. As I said at the start of the video, we've seen some absolute madness at times this season, looking at you, Paris. And as fun as that is to watch, I have to say that I much prefer watching the drivers go toe-to-toe cleanly. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy a little bit of drama, but I want to see racing, not a demolition derby every weekend, and we certainly got some good track action this weekend. De Grassi made a couple of stellar moves to make his way into the lead, and to be honest, once he got out front, he never looked back. He looked untouchable and controlled it perfectly. Really good drive. I can't help but feel like Sebastian Buemi's result today was a big one. Some really solid points after what's been a disappointing season to this point. And by disappointing, I mean in terms of the expectations from him and the team coming into season 5. And as for Jeff, I mean, what a drive. But I'll talk about him a little bit later, and that probably gives away my driver of the day. But anyway, we'll move on. It was a disappointing day for his teammate though, Andre Lotterer and Gary Paffett. I backed Lotterer for the win in the preview, so I've probably jinxed the poor guy. However, it all kind of went wrong for him in qualifying. The team made a timing error, really, is the best way to put it, in quali, and he didn't make it to the line in time to start a fast lap. That pretty much hampered his entire weekend from that point. That put him towards the back end of the grid, and although he did make his way from 21st to 15th and was looking good to maybe, just maybe pick up a couple of points, a battery issue saw him pulling into the pits and retiring. Such a shame for him, and as he was showing and his teammate went on to show, the pace was clearly there in that car to challenge those ahead. That guy, he needs and totally deserves a win this season. Fingers crossed for the next one. Paffett was one of the big surprises in qualifying for me. Found himself falling down the order though after Alex Lynn made an aggressive move, leaving Paffett making contact with the barrier. That resulted in him obviously losing momentum and then tumbling down the order. It didn't ultimately work out for Lynn though. He stopped on track a little bit later on, stating over team radio that the rear of the car had seized up. All in all, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and looking at the bigger picture, the result has set us up very nicely for the last few races of the season. Next up for the teams and drivers is the Bern E-Prix, but unfortunately we've got quite a wait for that one. That takes place over the weekend of the 21st and 22nd of June, basically a month from now. On to my driver of the day then, and it will come as a complete surprise, I've gone with Jean-Eric Vergne. He was a man on an absolute mission in Berlin, starting down in 8th place and pulled off some seriously good and aggressive overtakes to recover to the podium. And as you'll see shortly, it was a big result for his World Championship challenge. Just, I don't know what to say, a fantastic drive to watch. And it's that kind of performance that makes me such a fan of Jean-Eric Vergne. Of course, I've got to give a shout out to Stoff. Obviously, alright, he lost places from 2nd to 5th. But he fought hard and deserves every one of those points. No bias, honest, but he did me proud today. And I've got to mention as well, it's only fair, the two BMW boys did a great job as well to make up places and seal a double points finish for the team. Before I disappear though, let's have a look at the championship table, starting with the drivers. And Jean-Eric Vergne remains top on 102.6, clear of Lucas de Grassi. Big jump for him. Andre Lotterer, of course, didn't score. He stays on 86. Antonio Felix da Costa is in 4th on 82. Robin Freitz drops to 5th on 81. Mitch Evans is 6th on 69. Daniel Abt has climbed a little bit to 7th. Jerome D'Ambrosio is in 8th. Ollie Rowland falls to 9th. Sebastian Buemi up to 10th on 61 points. And Sam Bird, the season is just not going his way. He's 11th on 56 points. Still very close, particularly in that top 5. As for the team's championship, Techeetah stay top on 188 points. Audi now 2nd on 163 and Virgin dropping to 3rd on 137. Nissan Edams are 4th on 124, Mahindra 5th on 117th and BMW are 6th. Venturi 7th, Jaguar 8th, HWA some good points for them today thanks to Stoff, said it again, 38 points on the board for those. Dragon are on 13 and Neo continue to prop up the table on 6 points. That is it then for the Berlin E-Prix review, and in the comments section down below you can let me know your thoughts about the race, and also what do you think this does for the championship fight? Is it looking like Vergne versus de Grassi? Now, I will be back soon with more content as ever, and when it comes to Formula E, we are hoping to go live on Wednesday to look back over the season as a whole. In the meantime, though, you can follow me over on social media. Links to Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and of course to Discord are all in the description down below. But as ever, thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you all in the next one. Bye-bye.